let's see. Open shop requirements continue to be based on the Woodworkers Guild KCMO guidelines. We'll wear masks while in the shop unless we can maintain 6 foot of separation, or if you're actively eating or drinking. Open shop is going to be available on all the scheduled dates in September. See the website for those dates and times. Please remember to use the sign-up sheet on the door and clean up well when you are finished. I did hear Mark told me that the sign-up sheets, we need some more in there, so we'll get that taken care of and get some more sign-up sheets in there. The next shop cleanup, now this last shop cleanup we didn't do a good job, I guess, of announcing it, so we didn't have a lot of participants. The next shop cleanup will be November 13th, and we'll make sure we get an email out like the week before so that everybody kind of knows it's on there. Worked out, we got a few things cleaned up, but didn't have the participation that I'd had in the past on that. It's a much necessary thing to keep the shop looking good. We're still working. The board is working on a mentoring program. We talked about trying to get it up and going in early 2022. The details are being worked out. Just keep an eye out for announcements. I'm hoping that all members will consider being a club mentor, especially our experienced members and folks that know a process very comfortably. If you could pass that on, there will be some information sent out asking for people to sign up, and I'm just hoping that I get some members on the list so that we can give some of the new members that are showing up, where I used to come in to the open shop and be able to grab one of about 6 people sitting around the table to help me do anything. Right now, most of the people that are showing up at open shop are there with their own projects, and there isn't really a lot of socializing around the table like there used to be. I really think that's a detriment to our new members in the sense that they don't have that person to grab hold of and just ask questions. So that's the intent, is to give them some opportunities to get a little bit of good start in a process or in a type of project, and give them some confidence to go on and try it themselves. It's not I'm going to do this for 6 months. It's meet a few times, get them going, get them to understand the tools and the process, and then cut them loose. They can learn on their own at that point. So more to come on that. See, tonight's challenge will be to turn a Christmas ornament. I wanted to kind of give you the reasoning behind that is because we knew we weren't going to have an October meeting. We wanted to present the challenge items in the November meeting, and that will give us opportunity to take away from that and still have them available to give out as Christmas ornaments in December if we'd like. We'd also, we've got we'll get to that later here. Let's see, it says perfect your skill by turning extra ornaments to donate to the club for the sale at the Christmas event. So I'll talk about the Christmas event here in a bit, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to do the challenge, instead of just doing one ornament for the challenge, do a couple, do 3 or 4, and think about donating a few of them to put on the table for sale from the club. And I think it's going to be around November at a Christmas event here at the club. It's back. Check out the silent auction table for opportunities to bid on desirable items. Bids are open until the end of refreshment break. Announcements to directly follow the break. KCWT members' wood turnings are currently on display at the KCMO Mid-Continent Public Library. This is the second 3-month display for our club. It's a great way to get our name and show some projects to the general public and the community. There's great photos on the website if you want to see kind of what that display looks like. I suggest going there. Leads me to my locating information for the club announcement, and basically my big announcement is not an announcement. It's that the KCWT website, kcwoodturners.org, is the best resource you're going to find to get information on the club, both on the calendar, on special events, on member information, on past videos of meetings, anything. You can find it on the website. Look for that and look for the new abbreviated wood chips, which will be scaled down to more current events and pertinent KC Woodturners news. So I'm really just kind of stressing that the wood chips isn't going to come out with all the information of everything that happened in the meetings and such, but all that information should be available, and videos of the meetings are available at the website. So please use that as a resource. Also, just as a plug, we do have the Hand Turn KC site on Etsy, and Melina has passed the baton on to Wendy Lithgow. And Sean's going to help Wendy when it comes to getting the items out, but we're always available to accept some new donated items. The more we got on there, the more variety, the better it's going to look to draw people to the site. So check it out sometime, and if you got something laying around, it's been laying around for a while, that's a lot of projects where I kind of fall in love with them, but after a couple of years, I'm not as in love with them as I was, and that would be a good time to donate for the Etsy site, or even for the sale coming up here. Okay, so this is what I was going to tell you about. It's a Christmas sales event that's being planned by the Woodworkers Guild, but the KC Woodturners are going to take part as well. The woodworkers will help. They'll set up this area and lead children through to build trucks, and we'll be in our room, and we will be turning tops to put in a hole that they will drill in the bed of the truck. Kind of a fun little community, get the community to see what we're doing. There's also going to be display tables out here with items for sale. So if you want an opportunity to sell items personally, if you want to donate items for the club to sell for the club, there's going to be some opportunities here. Santa's going to be here also. So all of you guys that need to see Santa around Christmas time or before Christmas to get on his list, come for that. It's going to be fun and good exposure for both the Woodworkers Guild and for our club. So I hope we get good participation when we come to that. More information will be coming from the Woodworkers Guild. Will let us know, and then we'll pass it along to all the members when we know more. So just a few questions for you. Are you signed up for the David Ellsworth on October 11th? From what I heard from Kevin, we don't have a lot of people signed up right now. That didn't surprise me, being that we're a month away yet. But it's something to start putting on your calendar. You don't want to miss it. Do you have a project demonstration that you would like to share with the club? See Mike Thomas. He's always looking for demonstrators. It's harder and harder to find, especially with fewer and fewer people showing up at the shop. Unless he's going and pursuing them at their house, there's no way for him to tap you on the shoulder and get you to do that. So I'm looking for, small things that you can demonstrate, things that you're comfortable with, but it's a great for the club to see, and it's a great experience as a turner to be able to show something like that. So think about something and let Mike know if you get a chance. Let's see, how many of you participated in the Irish Festival? That's pretty good participation for the group that's here. I know that the board had a lot of people that were helping throughout that. It was a 3-day event. Want to put out some big thanks to Sean McMahon, as everybody here knows. He's always the one that kind of organizes that, gets a hold of the folks, lines everybody up, tells us what we're supposed to do, where it's supposed to be, when it's supposed to be done. But it takes a lot of effort and everything, so much so that I think that's why he's on vacation right now. He had to rest a little bit. I was going to ask Sean to give us a little breakdown on it, but since he's not here, I've got some of that information myself here that I'll share with you. And this is all good news. The KCWT Woodturners made $1,875.60 profit at the Irish Fest. Now, that's over and above the 4 people in our club, the 6 people in our club that had individual sales. So we had individual sales that reached $1,247. We did have a $300 entry fee, but after we paid the individuals for the items that they had on sale, which they did donate 30% to the club when they had that, we still made an over $1,800 profit. That's by far our best year that we've ever had. And it says a lot to, you know, our group and what we did and the kind of displays and things that we had out there. We had 2 lathes running. They had a river running through their tent on Friday night and Saturday morning. They got sunshine on Saturday, and the people came out with the sunshine, and Ed said they were busy from then until Sunday night. So it was a great turnout. You can kind of tell that the city's just dying to get out to things. I could tell that last night when I watched the football game. I thought, oh, I wouldn't want to be there. But I mean, they turned out well. We had good participation. Thanks to everybody that helped on that. It was an excellent opportunity for our club. All right, just want to let everybody know that there is a hands-on learning opportunity here going on. Anthony is currently teaching, well, he's teaching a couple of hands-on classes, one of which started yesterday, the 12th. That's on spindle turning. That class is full. That's a good thing. But we do still have a couple of spots open if anybody's interested in the basic bowl turning class. Oh, okay, we're full too. Here's another opportunity. It sounds like in October, Anthony's planning on teaching a box turning class. So if you're interested in friction fit type boxes and things like that, learning more about that, that's another opportunity in October. So thanks to Anthony around here somewhere for getting those classes going and really getting the interest out there for the people that are wanting to learn a little bit more. Okay, that's it for my announcements, but I do have, Effie's not here tonight, so Effie's Safety Minute is going to be presented by Wendy Lithgow, and Wendy's going to give us a quick update on the new first aid equipment that has been purchased for the club. Thanks, Wendy.
So this is our new first aid kit. So my name's Wendy. I'm a nurse and I'm also a wood turner. And when I joined the club, I saw that our first aid kit was maybe not up to speed. So this is our new first aid kit. It's mobile. We'll go ahead and open it up for you here. There is also a big first aid kit on the back of the door, but this is the most complete. So as you'll see, it's cantilevered. So you can see everything all at once. The most important things are right up on the top. You got your gloves. So this will go with us to all of our demos. So the biggest problem with wood turning is the risks that you take with it. So having a good first aid kit's really important. And the general first aid kits maybe don't cover everything that would happen in a wood shop. So the small things, cuts, abrasions, you have your Band-Aids, you have your sterile saline. If you're here in the shop, good soap and water, a little bit of antibacterial ointment and a Band-Aid and you're good to go. We also have butterfly strips in here. We have steri strips in here in case the cut is deep. And then the other thing, if you have a deep cut or a cut that bleeds a long time, or if you're on a blood thinner or a baby aspirin, this is hemostatic granules. You can pour this on it and it will help to clot the blood. So if you ever have a major bleed, you're going to use this. Take the packet with you. If you have to go to the emergency room, take the packet with you and let them know, hey, I use this on the site. Okay, so there's one in here. There's going to be one in the big one. Eye injuries are another common problem here. So we have sterile individual salines. If you have anything just like some dust, you can just wash it out. Or if you're here in the shop, you can rinse it under the sink for 10 to 15 minutes. If you have anything embedded in the eye, you don't want to do that. You don't want to pull it out. We have a little cup in here, and you're going to tape that over the eye and go to the emergency room. Anything that's in the eye that's so painful that you can't open your eye, you need to go to the emergency room for. Yes. So I have a little lighted magnet here, or magnifier rather, to help you look and see, you know, is there something in there? Is it all cleaned out? Yeah, there's tweezers in here. There's scissors. There's everything you're going to need. One of the other common things that happen in a wood turning shop, if you're working with any sort of exotic wood or you have someone new who hasn't been exposed to this, you can have an anaphylactic reaction. It's very common, but people don't realize it. They'll start to cough, they'll feel a little choked up, get a little watery, becomes hard for them to breathe. And an airway is really hard to recover once you've lost it. So first thing to do is remove yourself from the area. If you don't feel like you've gotten your breath back in that time, Benadryl is going to help stop any sort of allergic reaction. So an adult dose is 50 milligrams. These are liquid capsules. Gets into your system just a little bit faster than a whole tablet. So I would always recommend keeping that with you in your first aid kit. Oh, the other thing that's in here at the shop, we do have an AED over there. The Woodworkers Guild has it. If you feel like you're starting to have a heart attack or you're having chest pain that's not relieved with rest, any sort of pain going down the arm, neck, jaw, radiating to the back, you're going to take and chew 4 of these baby aspirin. These are coated, so you have to chew them, okay? That coat means that they don't dissolve in the stomach. They wait until they get into the intestine. It's kind of hard getting a bottle of non-coated aspirin small enough to go in our first aid kit. So those are some of the things we have in here. Our Band-Aids are embedded with the hemostatic agent as well. We've got 4x4s, we got gauze rolls. We do have a tourniquet. This is called a SWAT, stretch, wrap, and tuck. A tourniquet is a last resource, okay, if you can't get the bleeding stopped any other way. Try and hold pressure. You're going to hold pressure both hands, lean down. You want to put the cut between yourself and the bone, and you're going to lean and push with your body weight on it, okay? The last thing that I want to talk about that's in here that you guys might not realize would be in a first aid kit. We do have, well, of course, we have a book in here, but we also have a blood sugar test kit. So a lot of people will get dizzy, lightheaded, not be well-controlled diabetics, or not realize that they are diabetic, okay? That's one of the common problems. You never want to get dizzy or lightheaded around a lathe. So in here is a blood sugar test kit. We also have glucose. So in case someone is low on blood sugar, we have glucose gels, okay? 15 grams, wait for 15 minutes, recheck the blood sugar. We want to make sure it's over 70. Okay. If you have a really serious injury, if you ever get something impaled in you, don't pull it out. Pack and wrap around it, pack around it and wrap, and then you're going to go to the ER. But that's what's in our kit. We have a little tablet that you can write on. You always want to document what happened, when it happened, how long it's been. If you think someone's going to pass out, 2 key important things: what are you allergic to? When was the last time you had something to eat? They're going to want to know that if you're going to the emergency room. Okay. Little eye pen. And then any questions about what's in here? Mike. There is not an EpiPen in here. I can't afford it. Yeah, I would take Benadryl. Yep. Benadryl is very good. It's not an EpiPen. Anyone who needs an EpiPen should carry one with them. You actually do need a prescription for it, so I don't have one in here. I also don't have an inhaler in there because you need a prescription for that as well. So any other questions? I do have the number for the Poison Control Center. A lot of us work with solvents and different things. So it's 800-222-1222. I'll put this up in the closet in there. There's also the number for the 3 closest ERs. We have 3 within 3 miles. So St. Luke's, KU, and Truman are all within 3-mile reach of us, depending on how you go. I also found this. This is just a very simple explanation of what to do with different kinds of first aid. Given, lacerations, fractures, amputations. The last thing I want to talk about, if you do have an amputation, we have these, they're just little crack ice packs. You're going to want to find whatever piece came off. Once it's off of you, it's not getting blood supply, so it's just a piece of meat. You got to put it in a plastic bag, put some the ice pack with it, and on the back here we do have a cooler. So that's an immediate trip to the ER, obviously. But we have everything you need in here for any of the major wood shop accidents. Okay. I have a list of everything I put in here. If you want to get one for yourself, I'd be happy to help you. Everything in here came from Amazon, so really easy to get.
Thank you, Wendy. Just as a point, this is the traveling first aid kit, but it's usually back in the shop. We've got a very big cabinet that we put on the second door back in the shop that'll have all these items as well. We just basically updated ourselves from about 1982 to the 2022 or 2021 anyway. So big thanks to Wendy for kind of just coordinating that and getting it going, because you know, I've been turning pretty actively back there in the open shop area for about 10 years now. I've seen a couple of accidents. You never expect an accident, right? So I think it's great that we're looking at that seriously enough to have the right things at your fingertips when you're back there and working with us, even as a demonstrator out on away from the shop. So without any further ado, thank you, Wendy, for your time. I will get into tonight's A&E presentation. Anthony and Ed are going to do a demonstration on ornaments, and we're going to start, it looks like, with Ed tonight, right? All right. Well, Ed, take it on.
Design. Here's one an additional one that I've made. It's made out of walnut and yellow heart, and you can make it out of any color of wood you want. That one, I'm not sure, because the original one that I turned many, many years ago, I used 30-degree angle for my cuts, and that one is at 25 because I didn't want it to get too long. So the steeper, the bigger the angle, the steeper, the longer it's going to get. So that one is, like I said, is 25 degrees. So I'm not sure how the pattern's going to turn out on it once I turn it. I guess I can take this off, can I? So basically what I'll start with, I'll hollow it. I'll drill a 5/8 inch hole because I've found that it's easier for me to hollow through a 5/8 inch hole than it is anything smaller than that. So I'll drill a 5/8 inch hole in it and then mount it between centers, a step center and then a live center on the other end after I hollow it. Can't see without them anymore. Cleaning out the chips out of the gullet. Going a little bit too fast. And I am using a Kevin Neely hollowing tool. For this, it works the best. I mean, I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. The only reason I hollow it out is just take a little bit of weight out of it. It just, for some reason, if I don't take anything out of it, it gets so heavy that it starts bending down the branches on the tree. Yep. I'll put a finial on the top, on the bottom, and then a little catch on the top. Well, let's see. It's got, what did I say? What did this one is 8-sided. So it's got, did I get it wrong here? So each cut, you make a cut, glue it back together. So there's 8 sides, so there's 8 pieces. So you make 8 cuts. And each cut basically is a half hour. So you got 4 hours in just to glue up. And then the prep for because you basically, whatever you take out, you got to put back in. So if I take out 1/8 of an inch, I got to put 1/8 inch back in. And so because it's that, it just takes a little bit of time. I've got a thickness sander. So I'll rough cut them on the bandsaw to like 3/16, and then I'll run them through the thickness sander to get them down to I think it's like 0.9, 0.09. Right. Yeah. And the blade I use is a narrow curve. So I use it because, okay, I don't want to waste any more materials than I have to. Yes. All right, each, like, okay, say I cut it like this. Then I've got a small parallel. I've got I think they're Bessie clamps, but I got small ones. I got the light duty ones. And so I'll clamp it like this, and that keeps it from sliding this way. When you start putting pressure this way, and then I'll put another clamp end to end. And because I end up starting with a piece that's like 8 inches long, 9 inches long. And then I'll cut, and then I'll cut this one, put a clamp this way, and then that keeps it, and then put a clamp this way, but I'll just very lightly tighten it. So then I put another clamp this way, so that keeps it keeps everything in line this way too. I mean, so basically you clamp it so that it won't slide with the glue in it, so it won't slide out. And then you clamp it this way to pull the joint together. And then you put a clamp this way to keep the joint, the surfaces, the top and the bottom surface in the same plane. Yep. But it works out really well. This one, I'm satisfied with it. It's not as quite as different as this design is a little bit different from the other one. But you get all the triangles, and you can really tell how well you glue it up by your triangles. If they're all pretty consistent size and shape, then you've got a pretty good. And when I measured everything, I started off with a 2-inch square block, and then knocked the corners off at 45. So I ended up starting with an eight-sided piece. And then, like I said, you make a cut, put it back together. So normally if I'm doing this for any length of a number, then I'll have blanks. So I'll be gluing up 10 at a time. So by the time I get done with the 10th one, gluing the 10th one up, I can start over with the first one and start back through again, and then just keep working that way. That way it saves me time by, okay, I don't have to, I'm not standing around just waiting for the glue to dry. And I found that, okay, if I wait at least 30 minutes, that Type-On 2 will pretty much set up enough that it won't move when you go to clamp it. And then when I'll make the cut this way, then I'll rotate it 180 degrees and cut it. So I'm basically in the same, so I create that first X and then go from there. I'll try not to make too many that are, like I said, this one is 25 degrees and the previous one was 30. So like out on the outer edge, the outer two curves, it's not, on the other one, there's little triangles out there too, where this one is just a total ring. So I think it's going to turn out all right. And at the Irish Fest, people kept coming up asking me, you got one that's got Irish? And for some reason, I didn't have any with me. Either we'd sold them the previous year back in 19 or what, I don't know. So I didn't have any. So, okay, I need to start restocking a little bit. So I'm making up some. The biggest thing is just, and then after I get done with turning it, then I made a finial go on the bottom. And because it's yellow heart, I didn't want to spend the money. Plus I didn't have any. This was pretty much stock scrap. So I didn't have any, so I dyed it. I just used maple and dyed it yellow. And I think it's gonna, I think it'll be close enough that people won't notice. But like on this one, then the finial and the top piece will be out of maple. And I've decided that, okay, whatever I make the small pieces with the cutouts, it's going to, the finial on the top are going to be the same material. So now at this point, I would go ahead and sand it, but I know you don't want to watch me sand. Yeah. So then I would go ahead and take my Y center out. And there it is. And then I just go ahead and glue these in. And then there it is. Guess I ought to hold it that way. Yeah. 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 I mean, it's really fairly easy. I mean, it doesn't really, there's nothing really to it. I mean, you don't have to segment it. I mean, if you wanted, I mean, you can also just cut 4 sides. You can start with a square piece of wood and make 2 cuts this way, turn it 90 degrees and make 2 cuts that way. And you're going to get, the pattern will be a lot more open. It won't be quite as closed as this one is. But other than that, it's something when I first started going to the Irish Fest, I came up with something like, I think that were bottle stoppers at first. And that way I could make them. And then basically we sold them down there and they went over pretty good. So it's this one. I just tried to something different. And I think the ones I made in 2005, maybe it was Purple Heart, maple and Purple Heart. Well, I'm going to try and mix it up a little bit different colors and a little bit different materials. And it doesn't take anything to make them because there's not a whole lot of wood in them. I think the biggest thing is And you don't have to start off with a 2-inch piece of wood. You can have 2 1-inch pieces or 3 3/4-inch pieces. And just, and whatever you decide to make, however big a diameter you want to make them, then you make that, and then you start from there. And you go from there. That's it for me. The one I'm making for this year is just, it's been a struggle from get-go. It just, things just don't seem to be working out as well as I'd hoped. But like that, this year's, I think I'm going to end up having 35 of them. And so like, okay, I'll do, it will have, instead of cutting it like this way, I cut it this way and this way, and then you rotate it 90 degrees and cut it this way and this way, and then you set the blade at 45 degrees and then you cut it again. So it'll have rings around it. And then I think the biggest thing for those is I didn't move them in from the edge far enough. They're too close to the edge. And so when you turn it, it doesn't, the circles aren't as pronounced. I mean, you can see them, but they're not as pronounced as you don't have the overlap, because that was like you want, like the Olympic rings. But if you pull them down into the same, so they're all in a line, then okay, that's what this is supposed to, that's what this would look like. So it's been a challenge. I've got some, because like, okay, what I'll do is I got 35 blanks made up. So I'll make a 12-inch long blank and then cut them to the length. And then I'll drill the 5/8-inch hole like I did this one. And then I'll hollow them all. And then I'll do the next step on all of them. Then I'll do the next step on all of them. And to me, that makes more sense, because it's easier to, once you get in a routine, okay, put it in, hollow it, take it out, put the next one in, hollow it, or just drill the hole, drill the hole, drill the hole. I mean, it's so, and those are walnut and maple. I think there's some red ironwood in them. Yeah, fruit wood, flute wood, and then purple heart, and maple and walnut, and cherry and walnut, cherry and maple, and just anything, any combination that I can think of that will look decent. So now I got 35 finials to turn and 35 tops to turn. I on my walk this morning, there's another ornament. I thought of another one that I can do that it's kind of similar to what that bowl, that platter that Larry did. It's similar to that, except there's a guy out of, I think it's Ireland, and he's called, what's his name? But he did, I picked it, I watched his YouTube video, and he did this bowl where you turn something and then you put like 3 or 4 coats of lacquer, sealer on it. And then you take spirit dyes, which are alcohol based, so they dry real quick. And you take a crumpled up paper towel, and you just dab it on there. Well, with the ornament, I'll make the ornament, and then I'll use a cotton ball, because I don't want it to be very big, so that and I can do that around it. I'm hoping it turns out cool too. I mean, it's, you're up.
I'm doing something decidedly less high tech. No, well, the lathe has some. We have something skinny that I can use to take this off. Something thin so I can take this off. So I'm gonna do a little, I don't know what it's called, Snowman Icicle. I have the same issues he had with weight, and so I use a fairly small piece of wood. Yeah. We got sandpaper, so I'm just gonna have to do clean cuts. I never make them quite the same, probably. It's not intentional, it's just the way it works out. There's a little hat band. So this guy is, I just decided he has a high collar. I haven't done it this way before, but it'll be fun. Okay. Gets a little more of their detail at the bottom there, but you can't do it just yet. This is friction polish. Huh. So you have to be able to hang it on a tree. So what I've done is I got some size 2/0 fish hooks. And I cut the end off of one, so I have the eye loop. Get a little start. These big pliers. And when you cut this, you actually make it sharp. And so you can just drill with it. That means the hole will be the right size. There we go. Yeah. I'm glued to it now. Usually I do this on the lathe, but I figured that'd be fancy or something. I think it's better to do this on the lathe, and it just spins right in. It'll hang pretty well, I think. That's it. Yeah.
One of the things I've always liked about ornaments and things like that, spindle turning things, is you're open to your own imagination. You can go anywhere you want with it and make it any way you want. So, thank you, Anthony and Ed, for giving us a nice quick demonstration on ornaments. Everybody start making ornaments now, and you can have 20 or so at the challenge in November. I don't know, but I guess right now we'll take a little break between before we get into the challenge and the show and tell tonight, and take an opportunity if you'd like, and look back at the silent auction table and see if there's anything there that you want to bid on. And at the end, I'll say 10 minutes. So say 8:20. My gosh, we're gonna get out here early tonight. So 8:20, we'll get back together here, and that's when I'll announce the winners on the silent auction, and we'll get into the show and tell. But thank you, Ed and Anthony. Thank you for your demonstration tonight. Appreciate it. Linda and Dan Carlson have set up a buffet table back in the back with all kinds of sundries of food. So go back there and help yourselves to some goodies.